Okay, so let's do an application. This one says the Metropolis Zoo recently celebrated the birth of 2 new baby pandas. So here's some information about the pandas, and notice that the information is presented in 2 different ways. So it says Mochi, the panda cub, has been measured and weighed each week since she was born, and they're giving us our information in a table. And then Mochi's brother is Kappa. His weight has been charted on the graph below, so they're giving us our information in a graph. So the first says, let's interpret that table in the graph. What's the y-intercept and slope for each panda? So when I'm looking at the table, remember the y-intercept is where the 0 is. So in this case, the y-intercept is 1. And when I'm looking at a graph, the y-intercept is where we start. So in the graph, the y-intercept is 2. Okay, so to find the slope from the table, I pick any 2 points that you want, and I do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have 13 minus 9 over 3 minus 2. 4 over 1 is 1. Okay, so this guy gives me a slope of 4. Okay, when I'm on a graph, I could do the same thing. I could pick any 2 points I want. Here's 1, and here's another 1. So that tells me that my first point is 2, 8, and my second point is 3, 11. So to find the slope, I do change in y, y2 minus y1, 11 minus 8, over 3 minus 2, which gives me 3. Okay, so now I know these values. When Mochi's born, she starts, the y-intercept is 1. She starts at 1. When Kappa's born, he starts at 2. But Mochi, the rate, the slope, is going up faster than Kappa. Which panda is heavier when it was born? Well, that's Kappa. Has a higher y-intercept, higher starting point. Okay? All right, let's remember this. So 1 and 4, 2 and 3. So let's write that down here. Whoops. The y-intercept was 1. The slope was 4. The y-intercept was 2. The slope was 3. Which panda is growing faster? That's Mochi, because the rate, or the slope, is higher. Okay. Which panda will weigh more at 5 weeks? So let's write down. Mochi is growing 4x plus 1, because the rate, the slope was a 4, and the y-intercept was 1. Kappa is growing 3x plus 2, because his rate was 3 and his y-intercept, his starting point, was 2. So if I figure out where they are at 5 weeks, then I can see who's going to be bigger. So 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1, 21. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17. So it looks like Mochi is going to be bigger at 5 weeks. We used the equation.